And a very good evening to you. Welcome to Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha, Arora, of course, with my co-anchor John Kago. Remember, if you'd like to interact with us on social media, please feel free to do so. The hashtag is Easy Friday at KBC Channel 1, at Shiksha Arora, and at John_Kago_M.
All right, we have a comprehensive coverage of news that has been shaping up tonight as the Mayo holds their last rally in Kiambu ahead of mass demonstrations that are slated for Monday, accusing President Ruto of reneging on his promise to lower the cost of living. Even staying with that might move Sonko moves to the High Court, of course, arguing that 20th March is not a public holiday. We're looking at all that. And other stories that have been shaping up tonight, business as well. Sports a bit later. First things first, time for a bird's view of the news that's shaping up tonight. Let's have the highlights.
Collaboration. We build a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a first spouses collaboration and network to say that I will not sleep if my sister in Wajir is sleeping hungry.
Let's be a brother's keeper. First Lady Rachel Ruto urges counties to share food amongst the hungry in the country. It is a date with destiny. Raila Odinga rallies Kiambu to join Monday's march amid pleas to call off the mass action. And justice for baby Sagini. Court to visit Marani, the scene of the act of crime.
Welcome to this live broadcast. Now, tonight's top story. First Lady Rachel Ruto has asked the First Ladies to work together to come up with ways to support governors and their governments.
All right, speaking at State House here in the capital, after hosting a breakfast for county first spouses, the First Lady proposed a food exchange where first spouses from counties with food sufficiency would support their counterparts facing drought.
Through Mama Doing Good and its partners, the Office of the First will offer mentorship and technical assistance to initiatives started by the county's first spouses. The meeting reinforced the important role of the first spouses in uplifting their communities. Mama Rachel Ruto asked the First Ladies to work together to come up with ways to support governors and their governments.
We build a collaboration. We build a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a first spouses collaboration and network to say that I will not sleep if my sister in Wajir is sleeping hungry. And so that is what I was thinking.
She urged them to adopt a forest in their respective counties as part of the Office of the First Lady's objective to plant 500 million trees.
If you adopt a forest in your county, take a minute to think about the forest in your county. Some of you are thinking, I don't think we have any forest. What about coming up with a forest in your county? Government is here to support us.
We are reforming the whole space around empowering women financially. I recently changed the manner of delivery of credit to women using our Women Enterprise Fund. I have in this budget the affirmative action finances by our women members of parliament. We have added 1 billion shillings to them so that they can reach more women. We have also increased financing out of the Women Enterprise Fund from 5 billion to 13 billion.
The First Lady further urged the county-first spouses to promote financial literacy among women in their counties through table banking, supported by Joyful Women Organization's county-based economic empowerment officers.
Now, the opposition leader Raila Odinga has faulted the appointment of 50 chief administrative secretaries, which they claim will only overburden Kenya during this harsh economic times.
Well, Raila, who was in a series of rallies in Campbell County, alleged the appointments goes against the president's pledge of including people at the bottom of the economic pyramid in governance.
In gearing up for what the Azimio leader Raila Odinga has called a date with destiny, the opposition was in Campbell County for a series of roadside rallies as it sought to rally Kenyans to back their planned demonstrations in the capital on Monday. Azimio claiming that the Kenya Kwanza administration had failed to honor its pledge to bring down the cost of living.
Kwa nini na pesa iko kwa bajeti, bei ya unga iwe juu, badala ya kutumia hiyo pesa kuteremusha unga?
Monday tuko Nairobi kwa sababu hapa hakuna mwenye alipiga kura kumpigia kampuni. Sisi tulipiga kura tukipigia watu ambao wangekuwa watu wa kusaidia.
The opposition took issue with the appointments of 50 individuals to serve as chief administrative secretaries, which it claims will not only result into a bloated government, but overburden already struggling Kenyans.
Mliona hasla huko? Mliona hasla huko? Mwana mama mboga huko? Mama mboga mmeona huko? Ile lugha wamesahau sasa.
Mtu bilionea kama Kidero, yeye ndio Ruto anapea pesa milioni 1 kila mwezi ati mshahara. Na wewe mwana boda boda hapa Kiambu hasla unaumia.
The opposition maintaining it will proceed with its planned demonstrations on Monday to push for the lowering of the cost of living and an inclusive reconstitution of the IEBC.
Nataka watu milioni moja ingie Nairobi, nakuja kwa amani, beba kitambaa nyeupe ya ishara ya amani.
Kwa hivyo polisi, chungeni sana, msitumwe kimakosa. Nyenye na wananchi wa Kenya, madha wameeleza, katiba inasema wazi kwamba maandamano ni haki yako.
On its last leg of pressure rallies in Kiambu County, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party says it is going to the streets to pressure President William Ruto to honor his pre-election pledges. The coalition is confident that the meetings will achieve the desired results. John Jacob Curia, Easy Friday.
Now, moving on, the planned countrywide street protest by opposition leader Raila Odinga, which is expected to take place next week on Monday, have attracted varied reactions across the country.
Well, supporters of the mass action call took to the streets today, with those opposed to the picketing claiming it is an exercise in futility.
Business came to a standstill in Migori town as supporters of Azimio One Kenya coalition staged peaceful demonstrations ahead of the Monday's mass action. The day-long demonstrations also saw transport paralyzed, with motorists forced to park their vehicles by the roadside, fearing an imminent violence. Chanting anti-government slogans and decrying the high cost of living, the protesters used boulders and rocks to barricade the busy Migori-Sebania highway, the main gateway to neighboring Tanzania. In Busia County, hundreds of Azimio la Umoja supporters took to the streets to protest against high cost of living. Led by Matayos Member of Parliament Geoffrey Odinga, the Raila Odinga supporters demanded that the government should reintroduce the subsidy funds on basic commodities to cushion the suffering Kenyans.
Hakikishe kwamba bei imeshuka ya vyakula, ya mafuta, ya stima, ya kila kitu.
But as the Azimio supporters displayed their demands in form of street protests, a section of Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization in Nairobi County are now calling on the opposition leader Raila Odinga to call off the planned countrywide street protests on Monday.
Kile kinaendelea sio maandamano, ni kutafuta njia ya kuingia kwa serikali kwa mlango ya nyuma. Na hiyo ndio hatutakubali.
Sisi hakuna watoto wetu tutakubali watoke kwa maandamano. Mambo ingine wanasema wataenda State House. State House sio mende inakaa huko. Ni serikali ile imechaguliwa.
Ongezea tena nataka kusema huyu mzee mwenye maandamano tunamuomba kabisa. Maandamano kama ni maandamano anataka apitie bunge. Siko ndio sheria inatengenezangwa ama namna gani? Na Jumatatu ni siku ya wazazi kurudisha watoto yao shule. Kwa hivyo sisi tunasema na tunamuomba kabisa kama ni mtu wa kusikia hiyo maandamano awachane naye katakata. Na presidenti wetu tunamwambia tuko nyuma yake. Wamama wote wa Nairobi na Kenya mzima.
The same opposing voices resonating in Nandi, Machakos and Nakuru counties as they claim the move could destabilize the country.
Waambie kuanza kwenda, and when an opportunity comes, you give it to your sons, to your daughters, to your relatives, and yet you declare you are fighting for the ordinary wananchi.
The message from the Talai community is that Raila should cease immediately by holding illegal demonstrations.
Kwanza si maandamano, hizi ni vita ambazo zinachochewa na hatuwezi kukubali kama sisi watu wa kanisa na viongozi wale wengine. Asante.
All right, now former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko has moved to the High Court challenging the alleged declaration of 20th of March as a public holiday by the opposition leader Raila Odinga.
Well, Sonko also wants the court to stop the planned demonstrations that are on Monday, claiming it is a violation of the constitution.
In the filed petition by lawyer Harrison Kianjui and company advocates, the former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko decries the damage that may be caused if the planned demonstrations are allowed. Sonko points out a breach of the constitution by Azimio leader Raila Odinga for allegedly declaring the 20th of March as a national holiday despite not being gazetted. Sonko now seeks the court to issue an injunction against anyone declaring the day a holiday. He wants Raila barred from making utterances in reference to the 2022 general election, saying the matter was dispensed of by the Supreme Court, which affirmed President William Ruto as duly elected.
The NASA brigades, Raila Amolo Odinga and his colleagues, they were barred by the court not to breach the peace of this country. And today the court has declared that Monday shall not be a public holiday. So we're expecting all the school children, Monday waende shule, hardworking businessmen, businesswomen, business community in Nairobi and the entire country. On Monday, kazi, watu waendelee kwenda kazini.
But you cannot step outside the law and use a political platform and to begin saying that we want to overthrow the duly elected president because we feel we won the election.
Sonko further wants the court to order the Interior Cabinet Secretary to issue directions to the Inspector General of Police to assist in the arrest of 7 individuals whom he has listed as respondents in the case, and they include Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Jeremiah Kioni, Eugene Wamalwa, George Wajakoya and Wycliffe Oparanya. Should they continue with the planned demonstrations he claims are unconstitutional and threaten commission of unlawful acts which might disrupt normalcy. Justice Hedwig Ongundi has directed all parties be served with a petition, and the mention of the matter is slated for 21st of March 2023. Seraphine Nairobi for Prime Edition.
Now, a Kisii court will on March 24th visit Ikuruma village in Marani, the scene of a painful ordeal that left a 3-year-old boy blinded for life.
Well, resident magistrate Christine Ongweno has directed detectives to lead the 3 suspects to the very spot where they allegedly attacked and gouged out the eyes of Brighton Junior Sagini as part of a hearing into that particular case.
Seraphina Robbie with more from the courts.
As the court goes to the crime scene, the 3 accused persons include Raila Nyakarario, Alex Uchogo, and Pacifica Komboka will, on the 24th of March, be escorted back to Marani, where they allegedly robbed 3-year-old Junior Sageni his eyesight. The arresting police officer, Goded Mburu, told the court how he rushed to a scene upon being alerted that an angry mob was on the brink of lynching baby Sageni's aunt Pacifica Nyakarario, who is one of the accused, whom the villagers had accused of taking part in the heinous act. Seraphine Nairobi for Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, a security guard at Mutini Day Secondary School in Engineer Ward, Kinangop constituency of Nyandarua County was reportedly killed Friday morning after he was allegedly attacked by armed thugs who stormed the school in the wee hours.
Well, James Njoroge, a father of 7, sustained deep cuts on his face and head that led to heavy bleeding, leading to his death.
According to residents, an unknown number of thugs broke into the main office and made away with several school computers before killing the security guard, whom many described as a humble man of God.
Well, the body has since been moved to Engineer Hospital mortuary, awaiting postmortem as investigations commenced immediately.
Tafuta chenye wezi wasaidia. Hata chenye walimemba sio kitu inaweza saidia. It is less than 6,000 or 10,000. Sasa ukashindwa, sasa gili sita zinafanya uwe mtu kwa nini? Kwa vile Mungu alisema ate kuna damu ya Mkristiani wake itamwagika hiyo bure. Sasa tunajua tutapata huo mtu ametenda hiyo kitendo.
Mzee mwenyewe hakuwa na neno, alikuwa anajifanyia kazi yake ya mikono. Sasa tukio hilo limefanya tuudhike kimoyo, na sisi kama wakaaji wa Mutini, kulingana na vile tumekusanya, ningeomba ya kwamba kila mtu ni vizuri ajifanyie kazi na mikono yake. Kama ni mtu anatafuta chakula, kubali kuchoka ndio upate mavuno.
Now, the government will not build any more correctional facilities.
Well, this falls under the new program being implemented at the State Department of Correctional Facilities on improving and enhancing the living conditions of inmates.
According to the Principal Secretary of the State Department for Correctional Services, Mary Murioki, the program will implement the 1 prisoner, 1 bed, 1 mattress.
Well, the initiative will also see the purchase of 20,000 triple-decker beds in all correctional facilities.
The government will also advocate for alternative dispute resolution as a way of decongesting the facilities.
We may not look at building more facilities, because if you build more facilities, you are encouraging more people to come to prison, really. And our mandate is to ensure that the community, people are getting better and better every day. My wish and the wish of the department is that we continue removing the ones in prison and not replacing them. And our decongestion program, which is ongoing, together with the judiciary is continuing to help us sentence more and more people on non-custodial services. That means they can work in the community, like when we go to Merriment, they can be able to water the trees so that they don't go dry. We are looking to have 60,000 mattresses and 20,000 beds. 20,000 because they are triple-decker, so we will be able to have 3 people sleeping on one triple-decker. So 20,000 and 60,000, and we already have quite a number, which I'm going to release to you when I call for a media briefing.
Meanwhile, Campbell County is set to attract an additional grant of close to $3 billion from World Bank in the next financial year for urban development.
Oh, this is after the area governor, Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, moved to fast-track the creation of 6 new municipalities in the county.
The new administrative units will enable towns like Gatundu, Githunguri, Kabete, Lari, Juja and Githurai to attract more funding.
Wamatangi says each of the new municipalities will be getting between 400 million and 500 million shillings per year for urban development that includes construction of roads, water connectivity, sewerage, street lighting and other infrastructures.
Thika Town will also get a city status, and this will see the injection of 1 billion shillings for infrastructure development.
Majority of the people, kulingana vile wameniambia, they want Thika to be transformed. Ndio ikuwe mahali pazuri. So hii safari tuko mbele yake, na tuko naye kwa mkono, so we are going to do it and finish. Ndio hii kaunti ya Kiambu, doto yangu kama governor ilikuwa ni kwamba hii pesa mnapata, hii mnaona tunapata saizi, hii 6 municipalities itatuletea karibu 3 billion kwa kila mwaka.
Thika Town has been a municipality which has been attracting an allocation of 480 million shillings annually from World Bank, but once upgraded to a city status, it will attract more funding from the national government, besides opening up to other investors.
Ukienda our towns like Thika, Ruiru, ambazo zimekuwa na municipalities, utaona kwamba their parkings, their roads are well done. Lakini ukienda places like Juja, Rally na kule Kabete kwenye hakuja kuwa na municipalities, those places zimebaki nyuma for so long.
According to the county boss, the previous administration upgraded the 6 areas in 2013. By now, each of them will have attracted 4 billion shillings in grants for development.
Lakini unasikia tu wengine mtu anaenda kudanganya watu ati Thika ikikuwa city ati mkate itapanda bei. Mkate iko bei kali kushinda Kiambu.
Ruth Wamboi for Easy Friday.
And with that, it's time for us to take our first commercial break, but we will be back shortly.
All right, plenty lined up. Today is Friday, so the savage netizens coming up. My culture as well, business and sports a bit later. It's Ladies' Day edition today in business and sports. So
absolutely.
In a moment.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Kuna hizi kampuni zenye zinajua mali niko, kitu nimekula breko, kitu ninasema sahi, kitu nitakula next week on Thursday, pesa niko nazo kwa account, siblings wangu, the list is endless. Na mnajuaje hii information? Kwani mnani stock?
Lakini nikuulize, kabla ya kupress allow, ulijiuliza hii information inatumiwa kwa njia gani? Kabla ya kuallow, hakikisha umesoma terms and conditions.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na ofisi ya Data Protection Commissioner.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Don't miss our upcoming episode on kidney disease as we dive deep into kidney disease management and prevention.
So kidney disease means that function is abnormal, or sometimes the structure of the kidney. Maybe you are born with one kidney.
Hear from a patient and a doctor about their experiences and discover how you can take proactive steps to protect your kidney health. So whether you are currently living with kidney disease, have a loved one who is affected, or simply want to learn more about kidney health, this program is for you.
Anamnyonga hivi kabisa.
Chep bwana unaninyonga. Guys, bring some water bwana. Leta maji.
Guys, I think he's having a panic attack.
Let me go and get some water tumwagia anaweza amuka.
Fungue shirt, open the shirt. Teacher, I have a question.
Not now. What's your number?
See, I asked the question first.
What's your number?
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, a drama unfolds and quickly the keyboard warriors in this lovely dramatic country take it to another level.
Well, this week, a woman in Machakos County found herself in the headlines after she lost her form of speech and, well, started to bleat like a goat.
Wow, what a dramatic country indeed.
Open the gates and let the drama flow. This seems like the one prayer that keeps getting answered for the savage netizens. So let's find out what the drama was exactly.
Hey netizens, what is going on? Something seems to be amiss, or should I say, something seems to be a goat. This week, a woman summoned to Machakos court as a witness to a murder case started bleating like a goat. Yes, you heard it right. Grapes Opinion tweeted, Wakenya jamani, ilikuwa drama ni kama video akisihami Kenya, my beloved country. Wesley in shock, what have I just witnessed?
I witnessed ni kama drama ni kama video. I witnessed ni kama drama ni kama video.
Otieno with a question, huyu akipewa kofi moja safi mkoshua hata ongea? Vic asked, amepewa ngapi? Joe curiously, na mbona hakuli nyasi kama mbuzi wenzake?
Nakwambia upuzi ambao uko Kenya ni mwingi sana.
Ni concluding on the matter wrote, as a country, we are cruising on nicely. We can't be normal for just a year.
I'm saying, and I say this without any fear of contradiction, we are cruising nicely.
But let's leave the goat discussion behind and wash it away with the rain. This week, the havens opened their gates and let the beautiful showers wash upon us.
It rains very heavily outside. Thunder rising.
You may think the way netizens were complaining about the heat, they would be delighted over the change of weather. But the case was the direct opposite. Pedi Wabaga started with a question. Kuna watu wanaenda kupanda matatu kwenda job na hii mvua. Alafu upate laini. Big Batty Girl responded, cha muhimu ni tumefika. Lema quoting what the HR would possibly be asking after you arrived to work late due to being rained on tweeted, unaingia kazi saa 3 kwani mvua ndio ilikuwa inakulipia fare ya matatu? Wa. Allah. But for Doe Money, who was at least happy, tweeted a picture with excessive food and wrote, sherehe kidogo ya kusherehekea mvua huko Kakamega. Nabi's happiness is that mvua imerudi sasa, hakuna kuoga mpaka Mei. Wa.
You're being funny. Anyway.
But as we end this week, we finish with the sudden demise of the famous musician Costa Teach, who closed his curtains and took a final bow in his life's journey. And for the netizens who idolized him, what better way to remember him than through his music?
Well, that's it for us. Catch you next week on Savage Netizens. For Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
Picture, MJ on the shit, thriller, funny vibes every night.
What a talent there South Africa has lost. passed. May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, Costa Tichi there. A good piece on the savage netizens. Time to focus on culture now.
Absolutely. Now, in February 2023, the Kenyan Apex Court triggered debate in the Court of Public Opinion when it ruled that lesbians, gays and others in the LGBTQ community have the right to association.
Well, this week on My Culture, we focus on the traditions, customs and beliefs of various Kenyan communities insofar as the institution of marriage is concerned.
Take a look.
Traditionally, the institution of marriage between persons of the opposite sex played a central role in the community. Men would traditionally head the family and engage in the economic activities of the community. The women, on the other hand, would work on their piece of land so as to supply meals to their families. Mothers had the role of raising children and taking care of their homes.
Muhimu wetu wa doa mwanamke na kijana ama msichana na kijana ilikuwa kwamba watoto wazaliwe, kwa sababu watu walikuwa naamini sana kueneza ama kuongeza jamii iwe kubwa.
Mmekuoa mwanamke kwa Kimasai ni ili wajenge family, kila mtu aende akajenge familia yake.
Ile mila ambayo tunadumisha namba 1 hata kuliko sote ni hii ambayo tunajua kwamba ni ya mwanamke kuoana na mwanaume peke yake. Ndio tuendelea kama dunia, tuendelea kama nchi.
According to elders, in the past, homosexuality was not conceivable. It was frowned upon, considered a taboo, and morally abominable.
Ilikuwa ni tabu kufanya kitu kama hicho, ati mume kukutwa amefanya jambo kama hilo, ambaye ni ya kufanya maneno kama hayo na mwanaume mwenzake.
Kati ya zamani hata hiyo haikuwa inasikika kwa watu. Hiyo ilikuwa mbaya sana kwa Wakamba.
Ni mambo geni sana kwa Wamasai, na ni mambo ambaye ni kama haijawahi kukubalika kiafrika.
In some communities, the war on homosexuality was more pronounced. Those caught engaging in homosexual acts were punished or ostracized.
Ilikuwa ni lazima itakazwe. Hao watu walete hapa, tuwapeleke mahali fulani kama kule kulikuwa kunawekwa kwa kutakasa hizo, na hao wote tuwafanyie matakazo, hiyo isapiswe, sababu ni laana. Wakipatikana laana ilikuwa ni kifo. Wanapewa miti, wanapewa lungu, wanawekwa hapa, wanazingirwa, wanaambiwa mpigane mpaka mmoja wenu afe. Wanapigana hata kama ni mchana mzima, wanapigana na hizo lungu mpaka mmoja anafariki. Akiuawa huyu mwingine nao watu wanaua.
Same sex is abominable in the Luo culture, and the elders would never think of anything like that. If you did that, then you would be banned away from your home.
In Africa, Kenya is among the countries where same-sex relationships are illegal, with the exception of South Africa, Cape Verde, Mauritius and Mozambique. On Friday, 24th February 2023, the Supreme Court of Kenya, under a 5-judge bench, ruled that the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and queer community have the right to association. It did not touch on same-sex marriages. Elders say communities across the country have deeply rooted cultural and religious beliefs, thus condemning homosexuality in present-day Kenya.
Tuseme kwa jumla nchi yetu itapata laana ikiwa tutakubali hizi doa za wanaume kwa wanaume, wanawake kwa wanawake.
Ni shida sana hata kusikia kuwa ati imefanyika, kwa sababu haikuwa ikifanyika hata kidogo, na hata hivi sasa bado inakaa namna ile.
Urging the government to uphold the traditions, customs and beliefs.
Lingeita wazee wale wamekomaa na kufanyiwe tandiko ya kudagasa hiyo, sababu hiyo hata wakati huu wa kanisa ni laana.
Something that is completely wrong. what we try to do is to go through the churches because that is where people are. But I really see the need to assert or reassert our culture.
Tunatakana turudi katika mila zetu sisi wote sasa. Kuanzia pale chini. Wakati nasema pale chini ni kusema ya kwamba mtoto akiwa mdogo kuonyeshwa ya kwamba hii ni laana katika jamii yetu. Hii haihitajiki, hii haifai, hii haikubaliki.
All right, okay, with that, it's time for us to move on to the next segment of this live broadcast, which is the business news. And for some reason, Kago, I feel like business news is the most watched at the moment, because of the situation that we are experiencing as Kenyans when it comes to the cost of living and much more. So Kiptum will be the best person to give us an in-depth analysis on matters that are affecting Kenyans.
Yeah, and there's plenty lined up. Time for us to welcome her for the business news.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you, Shiksha and Kago. Of course, as you said, business affects you directly.
Yep.
Government policies affect the dollar or the shilling, the way it performs, and then, your pocket is impacted. Well, this is the latest in the world of business. As you've heard, my name is Betty Kiptum. Now, the government aims to register at least 6.7 million Jua Kali artisans in clusters before June this year in readiness for the group-based Hustler Fund product. Cooperative and Micro and Small Enterprise Development Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui says the government is stepping up the process of enrolling small businesses on an integrated online platform for formal recognition.
The informal sector employs about 90% of the Kenyan workforce, but a majority of them miss out on resources and services because of the nature of their jobs. Due to this, the government has launched an integrated online system as a singular database for planning purposes, especially when dispensing resources. However, registration by small businesses has been slow.
Given the significance of the MSMEs as the source of employment, hurdles to accessing funding becomes an obstacle to poverty reduction and economic progress. They are faced with two key challenges in financing: affordability and accessibility.
We will have all these opportunities, but if we don't organize ourselves as a sector, we will not reap the fruits.
Chelugui says in the next 3 months, the government will embark on a campaign to sensitize small businesses and artisans, especially those in remote areas.
Kulete upatanishi na kulete sisi pamoja, tuweze kuandikiana leo, tuwe na mapatano. Ndio wakati serikali inapoendelea kupanga mambo mengi, tuwe na mpangilio kamili ya kushirikiana na nyinyi.
We are going to nurture a structured institutional relation and harmony between the officers of government and, for that matter, MUSEA, and the two institutions and the Jua Kali sector at large on the ground.
Plans are underway to train Jua Kali artisans and review the policy to make it friendlier to small businesses.
To make it more conducive to the operations of the small businesses. Then also what you're doing is to see how we can create a platform for coordination and aligning of all our activities so that at the end of the day, all of us can read from the same page.
They say the ultimate goal is to increase involvement of the Jua Kali sector in key projects such as affordable housing in efforts to utilize the local talent pool.
Tukishirikiana pamoja, pia na sisi kama inji tutaweza kufikia pale.
And maybe cooperation and integration is the ultimate answer for artisans in the Jua Kali sector. Maybe financial inclusion is in the works for them in the grand scheme of things, and maybe in the horizon they will get development. Hibak Said for Easy Friday.
Thank you, Hibak, for that report. Now, scientists are calling for sensitization and information sharing along the agriculture value chain to tackle misinformation about GMOs. They argue that women are more susceptible to misinformation, which is hampering uptake of agricultural innovations, including uptake of GMOs, since over 70% of farmland is tilled by women.
The lifting of open cultivation and importation of genetically modified crops and animal feeds has attracted debate centering around food safety for human consumption, impact on the environment, and effect on traditional food crops. However, those in support of GMOs feel critics have been peddling misinformation to advance their case.
Because when you report facts against opinions, is that balance?
Scientists say such arguments are detrimental to progressive research and innovation in the agriculture value chain, especially by women.
Because when women get afraid of food, the consequences are they are likely to make wrong nutritional decisions for themselves and for their dependents. They are likely also to allocate limited family resources, chasing superfoods that are just possibly hype.
They say women are more susceptible to misinformation, which is hampering uptake of agricultural innovations, including uptake of GMOs, since over 70% of farmland is tilled by women. They are calling for more sensitization on various technologies and innovation along the agricultural value chain to counter misinformation.
For the last 50 years, food production has gone up almost 90%. But remember, this is not gone up because you have expanded the acreage, you have intensified production. So we're saying rapid technological innovations, because when you talk about genetic engineering, biotechnology, those are innovations. Because of that, there's a purpose for it.
We are not short of experts in this country. In fact, globally, Kenya is known for its expertise in various areas, and wherever you go in any part of the world, you'll find a Kenyan expert making a big difference.
Gina Manyara reporting for Easy Friday.
The government is keen to streamline and support agricultural cooperatives in part of efforts to operationalize the Central Liquidity Facility by August this year. Cooperative Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui says implementation of the Central Liquidity Facility would help open up more business lines for the cooperative movement, such as check processing and lending one another, and reduce reliance on the banking system.
Already 50 SACCOs have committed to join the Central Liquidity Fund that seeks to facilitate SACCOs to borrow from each other as a substitute for expensive commercial loans from banks. SACCOs in the agriculture value chain have been encouraged to join the facility that seeks to expand business opportunities and product portfolio.
Focusing on deepening and re-establishing SACCOs in Kenya, because we've realized it's one avenue of mobilizing financial resources.
Chelugui believes most SACCOs sit on underutilized capital that could be offered to unbanked farmers.
More the deposit guarantee fund, we want to promote shared services, that is SACCO central services that pulls together liquidity of, that is through Central Liquidity Facility.
He was speaking during the Chai SACCO annual general meeting, where officials said the SACCO's revenue increased 14.2% to 725 million in 2022, while assets increased from 4.3 billion shillings to 4.7 billion shillings.
Members' deposits are at 3.5 billion, and the loan book has grown to 4.1 billion.
Benson Joba reporting for Easy Friday.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000. Aulali. Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
point kama suti za burale.
Selection moto kila wiki.
Tandale. Atwende geto uko.
Jiunga nasi DJ Leo.
Kona pato la ngata kando ya bomba.
Na DJ D.
Haina life uko utainiona. Baniko huku saa usulize mbona.
This and every Sunday from 2 p.m. No one does it better.
She's still not baking.
I've told you, farming is not my thing.
Oh, lakini eating is. Wait. Why are there that many? Si ugonjwa wangu ni meja. Hizi dawa zinisaidi. Daktari alisema ile mimi ugonjwa wangu niko nao kupendwa tu.
Peter, naendeleaje?
Huyo sasa nikamnyweso tu na sherehe.
Watu wengi sana wanapenda idea yetu. And soon mimi na wewe tutakuwa mamilionea.
Hivyo ndio nataka kusikia. What do your parents do for a living?
They died.
I know I messed up. And it's been eating me up.
Kate, you have a wife and you have a girlfriend. I'm the last person you want to speak to.
Chep bwana unaninyonga. Guys, bring some water bwana. Leta maji.
Guys, I think he's having a panic attack.
Let me go and get some water tumwagia na weza amuka.
Open the shirt. Teacher, I have a question.
Not now. What's your number?
See, I asked the question first.
What's your number?
Come back. The government is keen on innovations and technologies that would help boost agricultural yields to enhance food production and ensure farmers earn more. Crops Development Principal Secretary Kelo Harsama says innovations such as the 4 new cashew nuts varieties that mature in 18 months as opposed to 5 years would support wealth creation.
Agriculture has remained a reserve of the aging population in Kenya, with the average age of a farmer at 61, mainly due to a belief that it involves hard work and takes long for one to earn from farming. Innovations, mechanization, and policy changes as well as state incentives are some of the steps being undertaken to change the narrative and lure more youth to embrace agriculture.
Na mimi nime direct Karo waanze nurseries katika sehemu zingine za Kenya ambao ni ukame kama hii. Vijana wale wanafuatana na mambo ya banditry huko Kerio Valley wawache hiyo maneno mbaya, wapande hii mimea inaitwa cashew nuts, wajitafutie pesa kwa biashara mzuri ya ukulima kama hii.
There was a time when the prices were like 10 to 20 shillings per kilo, and now the prices are between 50 and 70 shillings per kilo. And the difference nowadays is that the farmers just pick the nuts from the tree and to the market.
This emerged as the Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Organization released 4 new cashew nut varieties that are fast maturing.
Hii variety tumelaunch leo ni variety hii mpya tunaiona hapa, inaitwa A75. Inamea haraka, kwa muda wa miaka 1.5 mkulima ameanza kuvuna na kuuza.
And of course the advantage of the new varieties is drought resistance, pest resistance, faster growth.
Harsama challenged farmers, especially those in arid and semi-arid areas, to embrace the cash crop to reap from reforms being implemented to streamline the agriculture value chain.
Iko soko kubwa katika dunia, katika Kenya, ambayo hata ukilima shamba yote ya Kenya huwezi tosheleza. Hiyo soko haiwezi toshelezwa. Kwa hivyo ni nafasi nzuri ya Wakenya wale wanataka kulima hii kwa sehemu kame, kwa sababu hii ni mimea ambayo haitaki mvua mingi, inastahimili kwa those arid and semi-arid areas. Watu wachukue advantage, wapande kwa wingi na wapate pesa ya kutosha.
For Easy Friday from Mombasa County, I am Anburu.
Drones are being deployed for distribution of fertilizer and pesticides as Kenya ramps up the use of technology in the agriculture sector. Innovators say the use of drones guarantees proper applications to enhance crop yields while reducing attendant costs.
Drones have revolutionized agriculture by offering farmers major cost savings and enhancing efficiency. Experts in the agricultural sector note that the drones will be used to profile farms and crops that are nutrient deficient and give recommendations on their exact needs.
Like fertilizers, you know which specific plant will need what particular magnitude. One now helps you because in the application of the fertilizer or in the application of the specific nutrients, you are able to give the specific quantity which is required for that particular plant.
Due to the portability of the drones, they can cover a wider area when applying fertilizer and pesticides when compared to a handheld sprayer. This saves farmers time and allows easier data collection.
The other advantage that you also draw from this drone is that you are able to actually now do what we call targeted spraying. Okay, you're able to distribute the chemical or the fertilizer or the pesticide that you're deploying with precision to a level of the least level of precision that you can get.
The drone technology has been backed to improve efficiency in the agriculture sector and speed the drive towards sustainable farming practices.
Potential for increasing the yield when you can protect your crops maximum, you get more yield. So, of course, with the same acreage, you will get optimal or maximum yield, and therefore you're able to solve on food security.
Ndutamu Kami for Easy Friday.
Thank you very much, Ndutamu Kami. And as it happens, today is Ndutamu Kami's birthday. Happy birthday, Nduta. Well, now Karen Kibet is standing by on the other side of the studio to bring you the latest in the world of sports. What do you have for us, Karen?
Thank you, Betty Kiptum. I'd also love to wish Ndutamu Kami a happy birthday. May God bless you. Keep shining. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. Yesterday night, Betty, it will interest you to know that our team won our particular match, Manchester United, and we are advancing to the next stage of the Europa League. So thank you, Betty. I'll take it away. My name is Karen Kibet. Let's now talk sports. Karan Patel, Magat and Hamza Anwar are among the drivers eyeing a first-place finish in this year's edition of the Equator Rally, which began today in Voi. The rally has attracted more than 15 drivers. Yes.
The Equator Rally follows Rally Bandama, which took place last February. However, none of the ARC finishers from the Ivory Coast made an entry to the Kenyan round. The contention for the second round points will be local favourite Karan Patel, also the reigning Equator Rally winner. Others in contention are Uganda's Jasmat Magat and Yasin Nasir and Kenya's Piero Konobio. Patel will be navigated by Tawsif Khan in the Ford Fiesta Rally 5.
Having in wet conditions is something I'm not too keen, or rather I don't have much confidence. We did take part in the Uganda Rally, in the Pearl of Africa Rally, and in that particular event we did perform quite well in a wet section, beating the competition by almost a minute and a bit. So I feel there is room for me to improve my confidence levels in the wet.
Yasin Nasir and Ali Katumba returned to the ARC with a rather superior car, the Ford Fiesta Rally 5. The FIA Rally Stars crew Hamza Anwar, Makray Kimanthi, Jeremiah Wahome will all be in the mix to stir up the fight at the top. A shakedown stage of 5.48 kilometers was covered today as serious business gets down on Saturday, with 10 stages covering 205.23 kilometers total competitive distance. Last year's Equator Rally winner and this year's defending champion Karan Patel has stated that according to his training, is sure that he is going to emerge victorious. However, his fellow competitors Hamza Anwar and Jeremy Wahome and other drivers have also promised to do their best to ensure that they emerge victorious. Let's see who will be the 2023 Equator Rally champion. For Easy Friday Sports, from Matrate, Taita Taveta County, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
All the way from Taveta County, thank you very much, Dan Mwendwa, for that report. Tennis will be the main attraction at the 2023 National Olympic Committee of Kenya Beach Games, which were launched today in Kilifi County. 6 countries will be competing in the tennis that will see players add points to their rankings. A total of 17 disciplines will be played in the 2-day tournament that ends on Sunday afternoon. The preliminary rounds begins tomorrow.
These beach games is in preparation for the bigger event that we are going to be hosted at the Continental Games, which will be in Tunis, in Tunisia, in June this year. But before then, or after that, we were going also for World Beach Games in Indonesia, World Championship Games. But more importantly again, sisi tunataka kusema tutakuwa tukikuja hapa, tunataka kukuza if talanta wa vijana wako hapa kwenda mbele, kwa sababu tunataka kukuza ili wakati tunaleta medali kutoka track and field, beach games pia tuko na medali pia ya taifa letu la Kenya.
The beach games that are being staged this weekend is a clear demonstration of what collaboration to deliver on for our youth, and I am pleased to host it jointly with No Kenya. Sports remains a devolved function that we embrace because of its uniting communication power for what causes such as combating social vices like drug addiction and crime, as well promote good environmental awareness to our people. We look forward to exploring and engaging in more partnerships of this nature with No Kenya to make these beach games both successful, sustainable, and impactful.
A total, moving on, Kenyan pugilists failed to sparkle as the 2023 IBA Women's World Boxing Championships got underway at the Indira Gandhi Sports Complex in New Delhi, India. Pauline Chege lost her featherweight preliminary bout to Reyes Moreno Noshpet of Guatemala, while Amina Martha fell to Landieta Johanna Carolina of Venezuela. The tournament, set to run for 2 weeks, ends on 31st March.
It was a debut to forget for national light featherweight champion Pauline Chege, who became the first Kenyan boxer to be eliminated from the World Women's Boxing Championship after losing a preliminary bout to Moreno Noshbet of Guatemala. The upcoming Kenyan boxer lost the bout on unanimous points decision. Compatriot Amina Martha was next on the ring, and despite an outstanding display, she lost her bout to Landieta Johanna Carolina of Venezuela. Head coach Musa Benjamin was quick to note that the Kenyan boxers gave their best, but the officiating was poor. Musa, however, noted that the remaining boxers are up to the task as the national women's team targets to make amends after a disappointing outing last year in Istanbul, Turkey.
Nina take home many lessons to learn, because we never lose, we learn. Na nilikuwa confidence everything, nilikuwa kwa ring, nilikuwa nimerelax, I'd say, yeah, and I gave my best.
I think we are missing more exposure, and I feel I did better than last year. For me, I did not have much pressure in the game. I did my best.
Nilishinda second round, nilicheza yangu yote. Nilikuwa na expect pia third round nilicheza poa, kwa sababu nilikuwa najua nimechukua pia third round, but na feel officiating leo haijakuwa fair, so imeenda tu hivyo hiyo.
Tumekuwa disappointed kabisa, manake zile criteria ambazo AIBA imeweka za mashindano, scoring criteria zote, Amina amekuwa nazo, ameland more cleaner punches.
The Kenyan pugilists who are representing Kenya in the global showpiece are Christine Ongare, minimum weight, Anne Wanjiru, light flyweight, Veronica Mbide, flyweight, Frieza Anyango, welterweight, Lona Kusa, light middleweight, and Captain Elizabeth Ndiego, among others. The tournament, set to run for 2 weeks, ends on March 31st.
Leaders Gor Mahia were held to a goalless draw by KCB in a top-of-the-table Kenyan Premier League match played today at the Nyayo National Stadium. The Bankers took charge of the first half, having 2 shots on target but failed to make their chances count as the first period ended goalless. Kogalo came back stronger in the second half with Benson Omala missing a host of chances as the two sides grabbed a point each. At the final whistle, the draw sees Kogalo remain at the top of the log with 42 points, 5 above second place KCB. Gor will meet Sofapaka in the next match on Saturday, 25th of this month, while KCB travel to Kakamega Homeboys 4 days later in their next fixture.
Game, it was really tight. Thought we could have won it. We played some really nice football at times. Maybe didn't create lots of clear-cut chances. We maybe had a couple. Austin's in the second half there. Like, I genuinely thought it was in when he struck it and it went past that post. It was so close. KCB had a couple of chances in the first half, which were largely of our own doing. You know, Jeffrey was caught out of position, and Dennis Ananga sort of missed. Him and Sydney got sort of together and didn't quite head the ball clear. But other than that, I don't remember KCB having a clear chance.
I think always Gor Mahia is a tough team. One, for us getting a draw is a plus. Why? Because last season they managed to beat us twice, and now because we've won and drawn, that's a very big plus to us.
And those are all the sports stories we had for you tonight. And Manchester United won yesterday and they advanced to the next stage of the Europa League, while Arsenal crashed out of the Champions League.
Yeah, the goal from the opponents. You saw that goal from
Lisbon.
Midfield. Yeah, Lisbon from midfield. I think that could be the goal of the season.
It actually is.
What could happen to Arsenal? A crash of the momentum in the Premier League, perhaps?
I hope so, because on Sunday they face Crystal Palace. Yeah. I hope they also fail that particular fixture.
Those guys are on fire. And Costa Teach, man. You love dancing to his music, man.
I've always been such a big fan. Yeah. And when I woke up in the morning, I saw the news. I was very sad because just 27 years old, he was performing and he just collapsed. And that was the end of Costa Teach.
And that really caught me.
It took time for me to digest it, because, you know, this man, I don't think he had any history. Well, we didn't know of any history.
They said he had an epilepsy history, but we don't know. It's also a good angle for you because you host amazing guests every Friday here on Easy Friday. It's also good to ask them about their health. Do they go for checkups?
Any underlying conditions?
Any underlying conditions?
It's very important because, you know, when you see an artist performing, you would never think what's happening behind the scenes in terms of their health. And they're putting on their best, because you saw he actually fell down once and he got up. He continued, he finished his performance, and that was it.
Pretty sad.
Life of a performer. Very, very unfortunate.
May his soul rest in peace.
Also a reminder for all of us to be grateful for life.
Oh yes, gratitude is a must. Every morning,
every single day.
You wake up, say a prayer, and say thank you that, you know, you have the gift of life yet another day.
Our plan after this.
Easy Friday continues.
Easy Friday continues. Shiksha Arora will be back. Don't go too far. Betty, any final words?
Well, enjoy the weekend.
All right, on behalf of the whole team, my name is John Kago. Spotlight is up next. Brian Mararu has been sign language interpreter for tonight. Good night. So long. Spotlight coming up next.
See you soon.
All right.